Hi guys, I'm Vicky Vinogradova. This is a recipe channel for lazy people. Today we have the 10 most tasty options for baking from layered loaf. For different tastes and sweet and salty, with fruits and berries and with ham and cheese, greens in general any. Unites them all is that they prepare very easily and simply. For starters, I will show you how to make very cool cherry layers and make them so that are beautiful so that the bath does not soak in cherry juice, and I will show you two more options. We will have cherries with chocolate and the second option in cherries with cottage cheese in an amazing combination. Roll the dough into a longer rectangle. Layered dough is better suited to these layers. Divide the formation into 4 parts. And each part we make cuts with a knife for beauty and for air release when baking. Do only on half of the rectangle. For filling, we take cherries and add a starch to it. It will reduce the amount of juice in the cherries and will not allow the layers to warm. Put out berries. You can take fresh, frozen, you can strawberries, raspberries, cranberries, currants, anything with any of these berries will be delicious. In the first version, we add pieces of chocolate. Fold the layers in half. And press with a fork around the perimeter. In the second version, first lay out hard cheese or soft cottage cheese and a little powdered sugar. And cherries on top. Also fold in half. And press the edges with a fork. Grease the layers with egg yolk or butter. And put them in the oven for 15 minutes. And look what beauty it turns out. Here is a filling with chocolate, but like this with hard cheese. Lovers of sour-sweet combination will appreciate, guys, this delicacy. Next recipe for khachapuri lovers, we will have lazy OAJARIAN. These things that we a testicle in the center are very cool. For starters, we rub cheese. Take one that melts well. I have this suluguni. Then sprinkle the table with flour. Yeast dough is more suitable for this recipe. Roll it out. Cut it in half. And then I'll show you two versions of this khachapuri boat. In the first version, such cuts are made on the sides. The indentation from the edge is small. In the center we lay out cheese and put a cut on it, one and the second. And it gets such a boat. In the second version, we make sections along the perimeter, while in two opposite corners we don't connect such sections. Should turn out like this. Now we lay the sides. We trim the edges and we get such an interesting board. We also put cheese in the center and lubricate the surface of the dough with yolk and in the oven for 15 minutes. Take it out and make an indentation with a spoon. We put the yolk on one khachapuri and on the other and put it in the oven for a few minutes more. It looks very tasty. And while the cheese stretches, add a little butter and eat. Then we have boats with cream and berries. I use fresh strawberries in my recipe, but you can certainly take frozen berries and take other berries. As Fantasy suggests, we fasten on the sides and crush the bottom a little so that something like a ship will turn out. Pour peas or beans to the bottom so that the bottom does not soak strongly with vegetable oil and in the oven for 15 minutes. While it's baking, we make the cream. Mix the butter, sour cream and condensed milk with a blender and the cream is ready. Out our boats and fill with cream. Put berries or fruits on top. And I'll also show you a very cool sweet pizza with pineapple, lingonberries and condensed milk. The thing is generally tasty. For such a pizza, yeast layered dough is better. Roll out the slack. We don't make it thin. We slightly draw it around the edge with a knife to make the sides. We don't cut into the end. We only press it. In the center, we lay out pineapples and between them lingonberries. Send everything to the oven for 20 minutes. After that, pull out, pour condensed milk. It tastes sour and sweet. Condensed milk is perfectly combined with pineapples and lingonberries. The thing is very tasty. Pineapple can be taken fresh, can be canned with canned. Of course, do not need to be cleaned faster for us everything was cut. Instead of pineapple, kiwi can also be used, a very tasty combination. Well, instead of lingonberries, you can use for example cranberries or cherries, they will also be excellent. Next recipe will appeal to lovers of foam drink because it isn't just a delicious pastry, but also a great snack for this matter. We will have such sticks with bacon inside with cheese, stretching, tasty and aromatic. We take yeast multi-layer dough and cut each sheet into thick parts. Roll it out. We put bacon, sprinkle with grated cheese, and turn it into sausage. The edges so that the cheese doesn't spread. Lubricate with oil or yolk in the oven for 50 minutes. Great snack and just do it! And in line are very cool lazy buns with cinnamon and nuts. Roll out the dough, can be yeast dough, can be without. Sprinkle with sugar, cinnamon and crushed Greek nuts. Roll into a roll and cut into buns. Put the bun on a pan coated with baking paper or silicone mat. Grease with egg yolk or oil and send to the oven for 50–20 minutes. By the way, according to the same formula, you can make buns with cheese and greens. Grate the cheese for the filling, take what you want. Find the grease, you can take dill, cilantro, basil, decide what you like, and a little salt, pepper, oil to the greens, a little dried garlic for flavor. Also dough here with yeast, it is tastier. Put the filling out of greens, lay out not completely so that the edge remains empty from a bowl, sprinkle with cheese and corn in a roll. The edges so that the roll doesn't spread and then cut into portion buns. Put on the pan with shaded baking paper or silicone mat. Grease with yolk. You can sprinkle sesame on top and in the oven for 15 minutes. are such fragrant and beautiful. This is pulling great. We have apple strudel in line, although with a layered dough, but it is prepared elementary, while it turns out to be no less tasty than in any expensive restaurant. Very cool recipe. Immediately soak a handful of raisins in hot water and peel the apples. Instead of apples, you can take a pear. The cherry will also be delicious. Apples must be cut with small cubes. In a separate bowl, mix cinnamon, flour, and sugar. Sprinkle the apples with this mixture, strip and leave for 20 minutes so that the apples allow juice. We ourselves at this time ground walnuts, add breadcrumbs and sugar to nuts. Roll out multi-layered dough. In this recipe is delicious with yeast-free dough, so the dough is thin and crispy. Drain raisins, mix raisins with nuts and put apples on top of dough. And roll into roll. We pin the edges, lay the suture down, grease with egg yolk. Make small longitudinal incisions. In the oven for 14 minutes. Then we get it, cut it in a portion and eat just like that or with a bowl of cold ice cream. You are necessarily a bowl of ice cream because a cold seal combined with a hot layered dough and a fragrant filling is simply unrealistic. The next recipe is a very cool recipe with ham, with tomatoes, with cheese, cornichons. The taste cannot be conveyed in words at all. Filling with cubes, cut ham, tomatoes, and cornichons. We rub cheese. Roll out my dough here east. Lubricate with mustard. Peel cheese on top and lay out the filling. Roll into a tight roll. Pinching edges. Move the roll to a pan, grease with yolk with a suture down, and sprinkle with sesame seeds. Send to the oven for 20 minutes. The final recipe will be chocolate orange. I took it off for the new year, so I had it in the shape of a Christmas tree. You can make a different shape. The main thing is that it has a very tasty filling. I took ES dough, rolled into circles. In the center we put chocolate with nuts, orange zest. And some dried cranberries. Very tasty combination for filling. Then folded everything into such a Christmas tree. Instead of a Christmas tree, you can make layers as in the first recipe. The surface with egg yolk. On top you can decorate with chocolate dragées or a sprinkle. and we put it in the oven for 50 minutes. Chocolate with orange zest with nuts is divine, guys. I'm done. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you all. Have a good mood. Bye.